Welcome back to the channel. Rarest coins. Today we're talking about one of the most unexpected and shocking coins in modern American numismatics, the 1992 Washington quarter. Yes, you heard that right, a coin you've probably seen dozens of times, worth just 25 cents, might actually be worth up to $1.4 million. That's more than a house, more than most people make in years of work. So what makes the 1992 quarter so special? How can a modern coin, made in the millions, suddenly be worth a fortune? Stick around, because we're going to uncover the full story, including the coin's history, what to look for, and how one rare version of this coin shocked collectors with its unbelievable value. Let's start with the history. The Washington quarter has been in circulation since 1932. It was originally created to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth and quickly became a staple in American pockets. Over the decades, the design stayed mostly consistent, with George Washington's profile on the front and an eagle on the back. But by the early 1990s, the mint was already planning for changes, including the state quarters program that would launch in 1999. Now, in 1992, quarters were being minted in large numbers at the Denver Mint. That's where the D Mint mark comes from. The 1992 Washington quarter is a copper nickel-clad coin, meaning it has a core of pure copper and an outer layer of copper nickel. It was intended for everyday circulation and over 389 million of them were made. On the surface, it seems like an ordinary coin with nothing special. But here's where things get interesting. Among all those hundreds of millions of quarters, a tiny handful were struck with a completely different type of design. These rare 1992 quarters were mistakenly struck using a proof reverse die. This means that the back of the coin, the side with the eagle, had sharper details and a different, more refined look. This type of reverse was supposed to be used only on proof coins for collectors, which were struck in San Francisco with special dies and sold in protective packaging. Somehow, that proof reverse die ended up in Denver, and a small batch of quarters made it onto circulation. These are known to collectors as the 1992 close AM variety. So what does close AM mean? On the reverse of the quarter, the word America is spelled out along the top. If you look closely at the letters A and M in America, on regular coins, there's a small but noticeable space between the letters. On the proof reverse, those letters are much closer together, almost touching, hence the name close AM. That one small difference turns a common 25-cent coin into a massive collector's prize. And here's where it gets wild. One of these rare 1992 close AM quarters, in pristine condition and graded at a high level, reportedly sold for as much as $1.4 million. That's not a typo. $1.4 million. Why? Because of its extreme rarity, perfect condition, and the mystery surrounding how such an error was even possible. Now let's talk about what you need to look for. If you have a 1992 Washington quarter, pull it out and flip it over. Look at the back of the coin and focus on the word America. Pay close attention to the spacing between the A and the M. If they're very close together, almost touching, you might have a close AM variety. But that's not all. To be worth serious money, the coin also needs to be in excellent condition. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a flawless, mint state coin. A quarter that's been in someone's pocket or piggy bank for years might be worn or scratched, which lowers its value. But a 1992 close AM in uncirculated condition, with a strong strike and no marks or wear, is incredibly rare, and collectors will pay top dollar for it. If you think you have one of these coins, it's a good idea to have it authenticated and graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. These grading companies will examine the coin under magnification, verify whether it's the rare variety, and give it an official grade. Once it's certified, it can be sold at auction or through a private collector network, where values can soar into the thousands or even millions depending on condition. Now let's be real, most 1992D quarters are not worth more than 25 cents. Even nice ones in uncirculated condition might only fetch a few dollars, but the close AM variety changes everything. The rarity, combined with the collector demand and the sheer excitement of finding one, has made this coin a legend. So why is this particular error worth so much? It's all about scarcity. Very few close AM quarters from 1992D are known to exist. Some estimates say there may be only a few dozen. Combine that with the high grade, and you've got a unicorn in the coin world. The fact that it wasn't supposed to exist makes it even more appealing. And when a coin crosses that line from rare to legendary, collectors are willing to pay prices that most people would find hard to believe. Before we wrap up, here's a quick checklist to keep in mind. Look for a 1992D mint mark on the front of the coin. Flip it over and check the word America. Focus on the spacing between the letters A and M. If the A and M are close together, you might have a rare close AM reverse. Make sure the coin is in excellent condition with little to no wear. Consider having it graded by a trusted service. Keep it safe and consult with coin dealers or auction houses if it could be valuable. In conclusion, the 1992D Washington quarter might seem ordinary, but hidden among the millions are a few extremely rare varieties that could be worth a fortune. One of them, the close AM in near-perfect condition, has already shocked the world with a reported sale price of $1.4 million. So check your change, look through old coin jars, and don't underestimate the power of a small piece of metal. Your next big discovery could be just 25 cents away. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Leave a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin or have questions about your own collection. Until next time, happy hunting and good luck finding treasure in your change. Would you like a short version for TikTok or Instagram Reels? Welcome back to the channel. Rarest Coins. Today we're diving into one of the most surprising stories in coin collecting history. We're talking about the 1967 Washington quarter dollar. Believe it or not, one of those coins has reportedly been valued at a staggering $1.7 million. You heard that right, a single quarter dollar, just 25 cents. But what makes this coin so incredibly valuable? Is it a myth or is there truth behind the price tag? Stick around as we explore the full story, the historical background of the 1967 Washington quarter, how to identify valuable versions of this coin, and why collectors are going crazy over it. Let's start with the basics. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. It quickly became one of the most recognized and widely circulated coins in the United States. The obverse of the coin features a left-facing profile of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. The reverse features an eagle perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches beneath it, symbolizing both strength and peace. Now fast forward to 1967. This was a special time in U.S. coin history. Just a few years earlier, in 1965, the U.S. Mint removed all silver from circulating quarters due to rising silver prices. So, by 1967, quarters were made of a clad composition. That means they had an outer layer of copper nickel bonded to an inner core of pure copper. This made the 1967 quarter look similar to earlier silver quarters but without the actual silver content. Here's where things get interesting. During this time, the U.S. Mint suspended the use of mint marks from 1965 to 1967 to discourage coin hoarding. So, all 1967 quarters were minted without a mint mark, but despite being a common coin in circulation with over 1.5 billion struck, a few rare errors and varieties have turned some of these coins into highly valuable treasures. One of those coins is rumored to have sold for a jaw-dropping $1.7 million. So what makes that particular 1967 quarter so special? There are a few key possibilities. First, it may have been a rare transitional error. These are coins that were struck using the wrong plankett or die, meaning it was accidentally minted with materials or designs from a different coin. Imagine a 1967 quarter struck on a silver planchet meant for an earlier year or on a foreign coin blank. Mistakes like that are extremely rare and can command huge premiums at auction. Another possibility is a proof error. While the U.S. Mint did not officially produce proof coins for circulation in 1967, a few experimental or off-the-record proof-like strikes may have been created by mistake or as test pieces. These coins have a mirror-like finish and incredible detail. If a 1967 quarter has a deep cameo appearance and is in flawless condition, it could be extremely valuable, especially if it was never meant to exist in that form. And then there's condition. Condition is everything in numismatics. The vast majority of 1967 quarters were heavily circulated. Finding one in mint state condition, especially with no scratches, no wear, and a strong strike, is already rare, but finding one graded MS68 or higher by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC puts it in an entirely different league. Only a handful of such coins exist. Combine that with a rare error or variety, and now you have a coin worth hundreds of thousands or even over $1 million. Now let's talk about how you can identify whether your 1967 Washington quarter might be valuable. Start by checking its condition. If it looks worn or scratched, it's probably worth face value or slightly more, maybe $1 or $2 to a collector. But if it has a bright luster, no visible wear, and sharp details, you might have something special. Next, look for unusual characteristics. This includes doubling on the letters or numbers, off-center strikes, missing elements, or differences in the metal tone or texture. If something seems odd about your coin, it might be a rare variety or error. And finally, consider having it professionally graded. A certified high-grade coin with a rare error can multiply in value. Grading also authenticates your coin and protects it in a tamper-proof case, which collectors and buyers love. So, is the $1.7 million quarter real? There have been multiple reports of extremely rare and valuable 1967 quarters fetching insane prices at private auctions and among elite collectors. While not every report can be independently verified, what is certain is that error coins, transitional pieces, and ultra-high-grade examples can reach into the hundreds of thousands. And yes, if the right collector is willing to pay, a seven-figure price tag is not out of the realm of possibility. In conclusion, most 1967 quarters are worth face value, but a rare few are worth thousands or even millions. It all comes down to condition, rarity, and collector demand. So check your change. Dig through that old coin jar. That 1967 quarter sitting in your drawer could be more than just spare change. It might just be your ticket to a small fortune. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more coin collecting tips and stories, and let us know in the comments if you've ever found a rare coin. Until next time, happy collecting and good luck hunting for treasure. Would you like a version with voiceover cues or sound effect suggestions for editing? Welcome back to the channel, Rarest Coins, where today we dive into one of the most unexpected stories in modern coin collecting. This is the story of the 1997 Washington quarter. Now you might be thinking, it's just another quarter, right? Worth 25 cents. Spend it and forget it. But what if I told you that one version of this very coin has been valued at over $1.2 million? That's right, $1.25 worth of metal turned into $1 million treasure because of one simple twist of fate at the U.S. Mint. So what makes this coin so valuable? What should you be looking for? And could you be holding one of these rare quarters without even knowing it? Let's break it all down as we explore the history, the hidden details, and the surprising value of the 1997 Washington quarter. First, let's go back to the basics. The Washington quarter was introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. Designed by John Flanagan, it featured Washington's left-facing profile on the front and a bald eagle with outstretched wings on the back. The quarter remained largely unchanged for decades, becoming a symbol of American coinage. By 1997, the Mint was preparing to launch the 50-state quarters program, which would begin in 1999. But in that quiet year before all the major design changes, something very unusual happened. The Denver Mint, known for producing coins for general circulation, struck hundreds of millions of quarters marked with the D Mint mark. Over 595 million of them, to be exact. Most of those coins are still in pocket change, junk drawers, and bank rolls across the country. But among all of those ordinary coins, one stood out, one coin that would shake up the coin collecting world. Now let's talk about the coin that sold for an estimated $1.2 million. The story begins with what's known as a mint error. These are mistakes that happen during the coin-making process. Some are minor, like a small die crack or a misaligned strike. But every once in a while, something truly bizarre happens. In the case of the 1997D quarter, it's believed that one of these coins was accidentally struck on a foreign plankett, meaning a blank metal disc meant for another coin, possibly from another country or a commemorative issue. That alone would be enough to make it rare. But that wasn't all. This particular quarter was also discovered in near-perfect condition. That means no scratches, no wear, no signs of ever being in circulation. A coin like that, preserved through some unknown chain of events, would likely be graded at MS68 or higher by a top grading service like PCGS or NGC. Combine that grade with the rare composition or striking error, and you have a one-of-a-kind coin. When this ultra-rare 1997D quarter appeared in a private auction, it took collectors by surprise. The bidding was fast, intense, and by the end, the coin was reportedly sold for a jaw-dropping $1.2 million. It's not just a quarter anymore, it's history. It's a freak accident of minting turned into a treasure. So now the big question is, how can you tell if you have one of these rare coins? Here's what to look for. Start by checking for anything unusual in the way the coin looks or feels. If it seems slightly off in color or weight, it could be a wrong plankett error. You'll need a sensitive scale to measure its weight. A normal 1997D quarter weighs 5.67 grams. If it's significantly lighter or heavier, that's a red flag. Next, inspect the details. Look for sharpness in the strike. If the coin looks unusually well made, with mirror-like surfaces or deeply frosted designs, it might be a special strike or an error in the minting process. You also want to check for doubling. This means some parts of the coin, especially around the date, the word liberty, or the motto "In God We Trust," appear to have shadows or double outlines. That's a sign of a double die, another valuable type of mint error. Finally, look for any off-center strikes, missing elements, or a weak reverse image. Sometimes a coin will be struck incorrectly and only part of the design will appear. These kinds of errors can greatly increase value, especially when the coin is still in pristine condition. If you think you've found something special, the next step is to get the coin graded. Don't clean it or try to fix it. That could damage it and lower its value. Instead, send it to a reputable grading company. They will authenticate it, assign it a grade, and preserve it in a tamper-proof holder. A coin that's graded and certified has much more value on the collector's market. But here's the truth. Most 1997D quarters are still worth just 25 cents. Even those in slightly better condition might bring in $1 or $2. But the extremely rare ones, especially with mint errors and flawless surfaces, can change everything. It's the thrill of the hunt. That's what makes collecting coins so exciting. One day you're sorting through your spare change, and the next, you're holding a coin that could be worth more than a luxury car or even a house. And the best part, coins like this don't just exist in museums or bank vaults. They've been found in pocket change, coin rolls, garage sales, and inherited collections. Anyone, anywhere, could stumble upon $1 million find. So keep your eyes open, start looking. Pay attention to every quarter that passes through your hands, because the next 1997D mint error could still be out there, waiting to be discovered. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more stories about rare coins, valuable finds, and the hidden treasures of U.S. currency. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin or if you have a 1997D quarter you want us to take a closer look at. Until next time, keep checking your change. You never know what hidden wealth might be right in your pocket. If you want, I can also help with the matching video description, thumbnail text, or even TikTok and Instagram reel scripts to promote the video. Just let me know. Welcome back to the channel. Rarest coins. Today, we're talking about a coin that most people have overlooked for decades. It's the 1993D Washington quarter. At first glance, it seems like just another modern coin, something you'd find in your pocket, drop in a vending machine, or forget at the bottom of a drawer. But hidden among the millions that were minted, there is one version of the 1993D quarter that stunned the coin collecting world. One coin, so rare and mysterious, it has reportedly sold for as much as $1.3 million. That's not just rare, that's historic. So, what makes this everyday coin worth a small fortune? Let's take a deep dive into its background, the secrets behind its value, and how you can spot a rare 1993D quarter worth life-changing money. First, a quick history. The Washington quarter has been a standard of American coinage since 1932. It was originally introduced to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. Designed by John Flanagan, the coin features Washington's profile on the front, and an eagle perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches below on the reverse. For decades, the design remained mostly unchanged, with only slight modifications in detail. By 1993, the U.S. Mint was still using the copper-nickel clad composition, which replaced the 90% silver quarters that circulated up until 1964. These newer coins had a pure copper core and a copper-nickel outer layer, giving them a silver color but no actual precious metal content. The 1993D quarter was minted at the Denver Mint, indicated by the small D just to the right of Washington's ponytail on the front of the coin. That year, the Denver Mint produced over 600 million quarters, making it one of the most common coins in circulation. But as with so many things in numismatics, it's not just about how many were made, it's about how a few are made differently. And that's where things get exciting. Among those hundreds of millions of coins, a tiny handful were struck with a minting error so rare, so unusual, that it instantly caught the attention of top collectors. These rare 1993D quarters feature a dramatic die misalignment and possibly even a transitional error, where the coin was struck on a blank intended for a different denomination or composition. Some reports suggest one of these coins may have been accidentally struck on a plan kit made for a silver commemorative coin or even on an experimental metal alloy. If that happened, it would explain its massive value and the collector frenzy around it. Now here's the headline that shocked the collecting world. One specimen of a 1993D Washington quarter with an unusual strike, flawless condition, and verified as a true mint error reportedly sold for as much as $1.3 million at a private auction. That kind of price is unheard of for a modern quarter. But it goes to show that the right combination of factors, extreme rarity, historical interest, and perfect condition, can turn an ordinary coin into a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. Let's break down the key elements that made this coin so valuable. First, condition. Any coin hoping to fetch a high value has to be in nearly perfect shape. That means no scratches, no signs of wear, and a sharp strike. These coins are usually graded by companies like PCGS or NGC using a 70-point scale. A grade of MS68 or higher is considered exceptional. The 1993D quarter that made headlines was reportedly in that kind of elite condition. Second, error. This coin wasn't just pristine, it was unique. Whether it was a double die, a wrong plan kit, or a dramatic off-center strike, something about its creation was so different, so impossible under normal mint conditions, that it became one of a kind. That rarity is what gives it its massive price tag. Third, provenance and verification. Rare coins need to be authenticated. A coin selling for over $1 million has been examined, graded, and verified by professionals. This protects the buyer and gives the coin official recognition in the numismatic world. Now let's talk about what you can do. If you have a 1993D quarter, don't dismiss it. Take a close look. Check both sides for anything unusual. Look for double letters or numbers, off-center designs, missing elements, or anything that looks like it shouldn't be there. If the coin has full detail and an unusually strong strike with no signs of circulation, it may be uncirculated. If it feels heavier, sounds different when dropped, or looks like a different metal than a normal quarter, those are all signs something could be special. Use a magnifying glass or loupe and inspect the coin carefully. Pay attention to the edges. Check for reading errors. Look at the mint mark. Some rare errors involve misplaced or repunched mint marks. If anything seems unusual, consider sending the coin to a grading service. Getting it professionally graded is the best way to find out if it's just a regular coin or something truly extraordinary. And if it is a rare error in top condition, you could be looking at a coin worth tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or maybe even more. But here's the reality. Most 1993D quarters are worth face value. Some in uncirculated condition might be worth a few dollars to collectors. But the incredibly rare versions are the ones with the perfect grade and minting errors are the ones that break records. So don't expect every quarter you find to be a gold mine. But don't ignore them either, because history has already shown us that hidden among the most common coins are a few remarkable exceptions. Coins that slip through quality control. Coins that never should have existed. Coins that today are worth over $1 million. In conclusion, the 1993D Washington quarter may seem ordinary, but it's part of a story that reminds us to look closely, question everything, and appreciate the rare finds hidden in plain sight. One of these coins, against all odds, crossed into the world of million-dollar collectibles. Could another one still be out there? Could it be in your change, your collection, or sitting at the bottom of a jar? Only one way to find out. Start checking. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of America's most surprising coin treasures, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more rare coin stories, and drop a comment below. Let us know what coins you've found or what you're still hunting for. Until next time, happy collecting and good luck on your next great discovery. Let me know if you want a version with voiceover, pacing tips, or sound effect cues for editing.